Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we are helping the world experience what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the amazing expert co-authors of a new book that we have coming out. This one is called High Vibrational Wellness, Intuitive Healing Therapies to Nourish Your Body Temple. And before I get into this amazing conversation today with the authors here, just a huge thank you goes out to our lead author of High Vibrational Wellness, Savante Wolkin. Savante, you had a really big mission to bring these experts together, and I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you. Thank you for that big vision and mission. This book is other level high vibe. Wait till you hear from our authors today and read these beautiful chapters. And it's the stories and it's the strategies, you guys. We're putting some real practical experience into this book. And I was telling this group a few minutes ago how palpable that has been in their chapters and in the book. And Savante, it's all your fault, girl. We would not be here without you. So huge thank you to you. So we have some amazing people in this Zoom room. Caroline Mary is a writer, life coach, and healer whose mission it is to bring compassion and peace to the world. Joy E. Davis is a compassionate therapist, skilled chef, and a dedicated holistic retreat healer, spreading joy and healing through transformative experiences at Joyful Therapy. Karen Rudolph is here. She's a transformative life strategist, super stress reducer, and four-time international bestselling author, founder of Tranquil Solutions. And Susan G. Chamberlain is here. She's a creator of Blue Rose Mystics, where she's an intuitive spiritual coach, mystic, teacher, healer, angelic guide, and author, of course. I can't wait to chat with you all about these topics today. Caroline, you're going to start the party off. Tell us about your amazing chapter.
Hi there. Thanks, Laura. First of all, I just want to say thank you to the rest of you, or so inspiring, and thank you to Savante as well. So my chapter is The Gift of Light Language and the using your voice to heal your life. And I just includes in the chapter some of the experiences I've had with friends and people where light language is something so beautiful that frees our voice, and through liberating our voice, we liberate our energy field. So years ago, about 10 years ago now, I was asked to do some healing on a shaman from Peru. And the minute I put my hands on this guy, these languages came through. And it felt completely normal. Somehow it just felt like I had come home. And that's why I'm so excited to share this, because I always knew I was a soul in a body. This wasn't my first incarnation. So when I was growing up, I used to think, I don't feel like I'm from this time, this era, this place. And I used to watch things like Star Wars and think, yeah, that makes sense to me. And then when the light language started coming through and I met more people that speak light language, it just resonated so much with me. It brings me home to be able to speak. And my invitation in the chapter is to share with you how you can liberate your voice, the importance of liberating your voice, to be able to speak your truth, to express yourself. And with light language, what I love about it is like dancing for your voice. So I'm an ecstatic dancer, and I have been for many years. And with light language, it feels like you're just dancing. The minute I start speaking it, I feel expanded and I feel at home. And that's what I wanted to share with other people.
Oh, Caroline, thank you. The voice is important. It's an important portal through which we can raise our vibe and do lots of things. So there's probably a point in your journey where speaking your truth was not easy. I'm chuckling because that's probably for all of us, right? So can you think of a time, and what did you do to move through the feeling you were having to be able to speak your truth for the first time?
So interestingly, the thing that comes up is the not trying to jump to where you want to be, but speaking where you are. So sometimes I forget that I can even speak light language because I'm having a bubble of inner child energy coming up through me. And so many times we're always like, we want to be positive, we want to be happy. And one of the tools in the book is just speak what you're feeling. And in workshops, I did one on Saturday, I was inviting people, just make a noise of what's happening for you. Just speak if it's hurt, if it's pain, and otherwise we're blocking one thing to try and put something else in, and that is inauthentic. And I have learned so many times, if you're here, be here, and you can soon be here, but don't try and jump here if you're really not feeling it. So there's a balance of authenticity and wanting to bring in those high vibes, but also allowing, there's an expression, I'm in pain right now, or like today, I'm very tired. I run a well-being fair on the weekend. I'm exhausted. So if I speak that truth, and I didn't know how, I didn't know it was okay to just name the thing. So I covered, you know? So yeah, I just allowing the truth that wants to come out.
That's already such a beautiful nugget for us today. And for all of you listening, um, get ready. I hope you have your paper and your notebook and you write down some of these nuggets. You gave me a flash, Caroline, of being a kid and just the idea that when the bubble of inner child comes up, it may not be English words. It could just be a squeal. It could be a
Absolutely.
noise, right? It could be
Absolutely.
joy, like, or it could be pain, and that's okay too. So I love that so much. Thank you, Caroline, and thank you for being
Pleasure.
here and saying yes to this.
Thank you, Laura.
Joy, tell me about your amazing chapter.
Sure. I did chapter 14, which is When Glass Breaks, Getting Grounded in Culinary Therapy. So I went through a journey of domestic abuse through my marriage. And through that shaping, conditioning of marriage and abuse, it changed the trajectory of my life. And I became a therapist. And now I work with people that have similar experiences. I do a lot of trauma therapy, and also I'm a chef. I started as a chef and then became a therapist. And so we know that using five senses and grounding is super healing for trauma. It allows us to come back into our body and be present. Lots going on up here when we go through trauma, and it's really important to ground us. And so, of course, with my chapter, I talked a little bit about my experience, and my tool is all about getting grounded through culinary therapy and cooking a dish.
I love the idea that bringing ourselves into our senses through cooking could be so therapeutic. I want you to talk about this a little bit more. So, I'm tired and I'm hungry and dinner is just dinner and like I just want to eat, you know what I mean? Like we get to the end of our day and we don't treat it as the sacred opportunity it could be, honestly. What else do you want to tell us about that?
Right. So we do get in transaction mode, survivor mode. We need to eat to survive. And the last thing we want to do is cook. However, the most therapeutic thing that we can do when our energy is low and our stress is high is cook. Because it is the movement of cooking creates an energy of well-being, caring for ourselves. It creates a vibe of self-care. I'm important. My family is important. It's really important to ground ourselves through the smelling of the food, through the hearing, the chopping of the whatever vegetables. It gives us an opportunity to nurture our family, nurture ourselves. Getting connected and really important.
I love it, Joy. helping me just remember moments when, as a kid in my grandma's kitchen, Italian grandma and grandpa, and really even just that first stage of them sauteing the garlic and onions, right? And how it was all through the house. And there is nothing like that to bring you into the moment. And you're really just helping me right now realize that every single snack we prepare for ourselves doesn't even have to be the full meal, could even just be pouring ourselves a drink or whatever. How badass is it that we treat those moments as those self-care moments? And this is what this whole book is about, you guys. I can't wait to share all of our authors' awareness is really what this is. Joy, thank you for being here and sharing with us today.
Sure.
Karen, we're glad that you made it back. Tell us about your amazing chapter.
Yes, I hope it's not too loud. I was sitting outside. It was 100 degrees and my computer went out.
Oh.
So hopefully you can hear me around the noise, and my apologies for that. I'm in chapter 3. My chapter title is Faith Unbroken, Transforming Adversity Through Words, Belief, and Resilience. And for me, it's been a lifelong journey of expansion and growth. I got divorced and I didn't know I had given all my power away to a relationship, and had 3 small children and had no idea where I was going or what was next for me. It was scarier than anything. And when I started doing the self-discovery work, and I really found the power of words, and the power of words in particular of healing. And fast forward, I had a major accident last January that laid me out in a foreign country where I had major surgery and didn't speak the language. And I was all alone in the silence. I just really went within and found that their diagnosis didn't have to be my prognosis. I was told I couldn't walk. I wouldn't, my chances of walking again were going to be slim. I had fractured my the femur right off and fractured my pelvis and dislocated my back. And here I am on a road trip. So I refuse to let other people tell me what to do, how to do it, and what it's supposed to look like. So my chapter really takes us through the journey of self-discovery and the power of words as healing, as a healing tool. And it's just served me so well that I'm living life to the fullest now, and I'm just absolutely having a blast and still able to maintain a lifestyle because I created.
I love this topic, and you're making me think of doctors, of course, and the first words they're going to say to you as they tell you a diagnosis, and what, oh
Exactly.
gosh, what responsibility they have to convey that in a way that either helps you feel hope or not, right? And a lot of the time they're just doing the facts and they're not really thinking about that responsibility that they have. What else do you, so, let's say you're there and you receive those words. What's a Karen tool for in the moment? You realize what's happening, but you don't want to receive it like that. What do you do?
I stop, I take it in, and I pause, and I check within, does this feel right to me? Well, when they told me that, it just didn't real feel right. I'm like, who says that who are you, God? Coming from a nursing background, I was around it for many, many years in the healthcare system that has its faults, it has its cracks. And I remember very specifically, and that's what started me pretty much on my journey, where I grew up at a young age in a generation where kids were to be seen, not heard. And then fast forward, here I am in nursing, and the doctor's saying, send them home with a script. And I'm like, but you're not getting to the root cause. And they're like getting really pissy with me and saying, just do your job. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. So I'm always asking myself, and I'm checking in, because your body keeps score. Your body doesn't lie. It knows what it knows when you tap in and follow it and follow your intuition and your gut. So, that's been my ever since, and it works.
It does. And that's awesome. Oh, thank you for the topic.
Thank you.
Yeah, powerful. Okay, Susan, you're next. Tell us about your amazing chapter.
First of all, thank you, Laura. Thank you, Lainey, and thank you, co-authors, for this awesome opportunity to be here, to be present, and to have the living wellness of high vibrational wellness as part of our journey. So my chapter is chapter 10, page 95, and my title is Divine Feminine Emergence. It's actually going into the heart conscious connection to honoring your truth, because I feel we're living in these days going into the divine feminine. Even July 16th will be a prominent divine feminine emergence day, but living in the presence of the heart and connecting consciously and knowing that you're connecting consciously and allowing the divine to work through you, honoring your soul contract, your soul alignment, and just being in the presence of, I have a lot of angels. My chapter is a lot about angels. And to me, everyone has a guardian angel, and angels are around all of us. When you give the opportunity to the angelic realm, please help me, and you talk to them and give them permission, they absolutely will come. And 100,000 will be at your bedside, at your prayer circle in 2 seconds flat. So it's really about understanding that we are divinely present.
So I recently learned the difference between thinking that prayer and saying it out loud. Will you talk more about the importance of actually asking?
It is important to give permission, because this realm that we're living in on this planet is a free will, free choice planet. Therefore, you must give permission to the other side for help, and they will come. But if you don't, they will not trespass God's word for this planet and the free will, free choice. They will not break that law.
I felt the difference, really felt it in my body. I was really good at thinking things in my head a lot, and not so good at crafting the ask in a way that was, calling that in. And when I started to do that, I started to feel the difference, and it was just a powerful shift for me. You talk about that connection, and this is so important. Beyond all the words we're using to describe this, you guys, beyond all the ways we're trying to, help you in. Susan, if you were going to tell somebody who didn't really understand the language how to connect, what would be that easy way you'd have them connect? What's one
But
step?
have them honoring themselves by sitting in silence and allowing the divine to take over your presence. Because when you're silent, you can hear the divine, and the divine can hear you completely. But when you talk from your heart, being heart conscious, that connection right there, we're all connected through the heart. So once you sit in silence, honor that space, honor yourself, honor the divine, the doors kind of open, because they're ready. They're so ready to help us, but we think we have no access to them. They're very present. We're the ones that wander around looking and searching for things, but the divine is very present. The angels are always there. They wait for you.
Thanks for those reminders. They're powerful reminders. Susan, thank you for being here today to share this
Thank
with
you.
us. So for all of you, in this book, we take a very holistic approach. All of the titles that we publish are on a foundation of holistic, right? That approach. Joy, when it comes to this journey that we're on, why holistic? Why is that important, or has it been for you?
I think it's super important. Holistic is a combination of checking in with ourselves, right? And I know, especially with therapy and medication is very common. Just take this pill. And that isn't really always the case. And I think grounding in ourselves, grounding in our spirit, grounding in our emotions, I think that really makes a huge difference. Holistic care and how we approach ourselves, our perspective, and how we see our external realm. And when we're not grounded, when we're not in, that grounding of ourselves, and we're not able to really see things clearly, and being holistic and caring for ourselves using natural substances, healthy diet, healthy spirituality, healthy emotional regulation really does make a huge difference and impact in how we see ourselves and also see the world.
Thank you for that. Earlier, you were talking about, we're given the opportunity to take this pill, this or that. You cut out a little bit on the piece of that answer that you were talking about. But so I just wanted to say about that, like our culture has learned that that's the quick fix, is the pill or the quick thing. And that's always going to be a Band-Aid. It's going to cover up symptoms, but maybe not get to the root cause that you really want to get to if you're hoping for any kind of effective or long-lasting relief or healing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a piece of the holistic for me as well. Karen, how about you in terms of holistic? What's that meant for you? Why do you want people to understand the importance of that?
Because it gives us the power of choice. And choice is really where your personal freedom lies, right? Nobody can make the choices but you unless you allow it. And then you give your power away. So for me, holistic gives us another vantage point of looking at options. It's being your own advocate and knowing what all your options are. A lot of people, like we were just talking, the quick fix with a pill, and on this journey now for the past 2 weeks. And it's amazing to me how many people will sooner pop a pill than look at what their options are, or they're like, wow, Karen, you're on this journey and you're like going hundreds of miles in a car. I would never think of doing that. And in my mind, I'm like, why not? It's a choice. It feeds my soul, which is part of a holistic realm for me. Because if I'm not feeding my soul and taking care of me, nobody's going to take care of me the way I'm going to take care of me. So I love the option of holistic, as well as I said, I was in a nursing environment, and just people, the mind is a very powerful tool. And seeing patients given a diagnosis and all of a sudden it becomes their end all be all, like there's no other way out. And then they live into it because their mind is now looking for, in psychology and neuroscience, your mind starts looking for evidence to make it true. So I had a girlfriend recently whose father had been diagnosed with cancer. All of a sudden his life was over and he put a 3-month deadline on himself, and then had a false positive, and all of a sudden it was like, I'm not dying, and he started living life again. That's how powerful the mind is. So what you think about, you bring about.
Yes, what you think about, you bring about. That is pretty darn powerful.
It's all energy.
Susan, what do you want to add to this holistic conversation?
Well, to me, holism is about the body, mind, spirit, and soul, the essence of who we are from our divinity, our truth, and then understanding that there are 4 bodies to us. So the physical body is the densest part. Then you have the emotional body, the mental body, and the spiritual body. That wholeness, that oneness. So when you're going in for a healing, it's not a simple, like you said, Band-Aid. It's really, you've got to do the soul work. You've got to dig in deeper, find out where you are, what's turning you, what's burning you, and what you can bring to light to heal, because it really truly is a soul journey.
I love you explaining the bodies. That's something that I learned later on the journey, that in the beginning I didn't really understand it. And how beautiful all of you are. Just, this is so perfect. You're tying in with each other to help people understand this better. So if y'all understand what Susan said about the different bodies, and don't get too confused or bogged up in your head about trying to analyze all of that. Come back to your awareness and understanding what I think Karen said it a minute ago, feeds your soul. I love that connection with holistic, because we feed ourselves with, we put food in our mouth, we consume media, but what about what feeds the soul, right? And then what Susan's saying is that's divine. That's a divine connection. And this is it, this topic. Oh, this is a juicy topic. Caroline, what do you want to add? Like, why holistic?
I love what everyone said, and I was listening, thinking the choice I think is the most important for me, and also connecting to the individual journey. So, for example, I was enforced to take medication over 15 years ago when I from a psychiatric system, and in that moment, it was completely, I had no voice, I had no choice. Everything was constrained, and I knew this wasn't the only way. You're not hearing me. You're not letting me speak. There was nothing, and I was locked up, and in that hospital again, there was nothing. There was food, which we all like ate because it was the nourishment. We all hugged. We were all clinging to each other because it's like we're in here going. So we were nourishing each other, right, with our connection and speaking. Or the only thing we were getting from the doctors and the nursing staff were pills. And it was like, this is so, and my intuition was really strong at that time. I was having lots of psychic awakenings, and I could see what was happening with all of the people. And some people, I was with them praying. Other people, I was rolling cigarettes for them. Other people, I was dancing and singing. I was doing all this stuff, and I was like, there's nothing here for me. This is so bizarre, right? But I was getting this learning. It was like, actually, for some people, medication is the option because that's all they know. And then there's another conversation they open up. Oh my God, well, maybe I can start doing yoga. And then, oh, maybe so that's like, for me, everyone has a medicine. And I've been really against medication, like really like strongly because of the trauma that I had and just the anger that I was carrying. And then guess what? I had really bad toothache last year. And I was like, you know what, actually right now I'm going to have some painkiller, because ultimately those painkillers have probably a root in plant medicine. Okay. So unfortunately, the white pill has a bad name because it's contorted, but a very clear connection is homeopathy, right? These little pills that have an essence of plant. So the holistic is, like Susan's saying, like we're all saying, it's understanding the whole of ourself, the whole of nature. There is vibrational matched medicines. Okay, so with light language, it's very high energy. Some people are like, whoa, because it's so such a fine energy, and it's not right for everybody. Somebody needs a massage, right? So it's choice, and it's taken me a long time to realize it's okay that people are where they're at, and then they'll open the door into the next choice. And then, like you, Karen, I was given a diagnosis, and I was like, no, I just said no. And he was like, but I thought we're friends. I'm like, no, because if you were my friend, you'd know me and you would know that this is really what's happening. I just unplugged because I could see it. So for me, it's choice. It's the whole, it's allowing and accepting all as well as it is, and knowing that that's their journey. So yeah, really juicy topic. I think we could all write a whole book just on that, right? It's
No doubt.
So interesting.
No doubt. And thank you for bringing that up in terms of medicines, pills. We tend to give that a bad rap, but honestly, sometimes it's a choice that you have to make to move to the next step. And it's really important to understand that bigger picture. Mm-hmm. This is the way that you talked about that, Caroline, is such a wonderful segue. So I'm going to talk about this next thing. We'll see what you all have to say. Karen, I'm going to start with you on this one. We expert, author, healer people, we like to talk about ourselves as guides and facilitators. We know that we don't fix people, and there's nothing to be fixed. There's no, you're not broken. I think it's nice to say that we empower others to connect with that own inner wisdom. And that is how we help them heal, we help them on the journey, we help guide or facilitate that. So Karen, talk to our viewers today. What do you want them to know in terms of feeling empowered about this journey? What's your message?
Everything is energy, and energy is vibration and frequency. What you think about, you bring about. Right? If so, for me, the message is always, the power of choice, shifting perception. I like to say I shift human perception for a living. And I love it because it does empower others. I'm not here to help anybody, because if you look up the word help, it really is indicating that they need to be fixed, and no one needs to be fixed. They're whole, complete, perfect, right here, right now. They can shift their energy, empower themselves. So I'm here to support and lift. I like to consider myself a journey guide in that space. And so it's really a space of really being present to what's coming out of your mouth, because words have power. In the beginning was the word. So when you start looking and thinking it, most people will just stop, think about it. And, when you get present to what's coming out of your mouth and what's happening in your environment, in your surrounding, you really have the power to empower yourselves by being present to that vibration, that energy. Yeah. So
Love
hopefully
it.
that answers.
It did. I love it. I love listening to all of you about all of this. And it honestly, it makes me smile, because this is one of the reasons for the collaborations that we're doing, is because y'all are hitting on the same kind of thing in your own very unique way of expressing it. And your way of expressing it is going to be the way that somebody needs to hear it. And it's really important to be able to talk about these things from all of your perspectives, which I just love so much. All right, Susan, getting back to this empowering message, you're talking to our listeners today. You want to guide that journey the best that you can. What's your message for them?
Well, we are whole and complete, as we were just speaking. We are made by the divine. Any part of us that fractionates off from that is the part that thinks it's not well. That would be the small self, because the higher self is fully aware of its vibration, fully aware of the divine, fully aware of all its capabilities, and all of our spiritual essence are gifts that really are present, but have been blocked or numbed or dumbed down. As we bring them to the surface with that divine feminine emergence, living from the heart, living from our intuitive abilities, living from our sacredness, changes the world. It changes, like they were saying earlier, about our perception, how we really see ourselves, how we really see the world, how we really see others. Peace, love, and joy are literally going in the direction and pulling us in that direction to a higher level of vibrational wellness and living that complete essence of knowing who we are at truth, that level of getting into the soul's work and the truth of who we really are.
Yes, this is big potato stuff, you guys. Like this is it. Caroline, how about you? What's your message, empowering message for people today?
Juicy. What do you need to know, people? You can do it. That's what wants to come through. You can do it. So wherever you are, and I think this actually is what I love about the books. We are sharing some of our vulnerabilities, because what was coming through when I was listening to you, Susan and Karen, we are coming back to wholeness, hence the holistic. And it's okay if you've got pinched bits that are something we're feeling separate. We can come back, okay? It's okay. And this is what I love sharing in the books. Hey, you know what? I was scared. I had a fear. And then guess what? I reached out. I asked my guides. I asked my angels. You've got guides. You have a higher self. You're amazing. You've got gifts. Don't look at us and think, wow, we just happened to pray maybe one more time than you did. You make a prayer and you will get your gifts. You are open to your higher self. You're open to the light language that wants to come out. Whatever it is that you bring, yeah, you've got a medicine. So we're just that step that's taken a step, right? We're just one step ahead, if you like, but we're all medicine. Like we're all learning from each other. So don't think that you can't do what we're doing, because it's just a matter of time until you have that next awakening and a little bit of you comes back. Yeah, we're all doing it. We're all coming back to the wholeness. So you've got this, guys.
I love it. I wrote down, it's okay to have some pinched bits. I wrote that down. I love that. We're all going to have a little bit of pinched bits once in a while, right? We got to get through it. Joy, how about you? What's that empowering message from you today?
I agree with everyone. I'm basically a partner on the journey of discovery. I'm a partner on the journey of healing. Basically, you can overcome anything, any adversity, you can overcome it. I spend a lot of time helping others discover their gifts, their strengths, their voice, their truth, and how they're going to act that out, and how they're going to reframe, and how are they going to step out into this new power that they've created for themselves based on those pinched bits, so to speak, hurt places, bruising. It's a very honorable journey to step into the client room with them and focus on what they need to focus on. Give them the opportunity to heal.
Yes, I feel that honor in sharing your brave work and words. It is a big honor and a great responsibility. All right, listen, I'm gonna wrap up with this wonderful question for all of you. When I thought about this book and living a high vibe life, I thought about so many different ways we do that. And what I'd love for you all is to give us a little window into your day to day. If you were watching me in my practice, a lot of the times I've got a pen on a journal and I am using journaling as my awareness practice to understand what I'm thinking, to make it out loud, so to speak, so that I have the choice. With awareness, we get the choice. And writing it out of my head and onto a paper is that awareness tool. I get to take a step back and I get to look at that notebook. And sometimes I say, ooh, is that what you think? Right. And so whenever you have awareness, you have another inch toward being able to make a choice. And Karen's been talking about watch those words that come out of your mouth. I do that. I watch the ones I write now that are purposeful for other people to read. I watch how I email somebody. I watch how I approach someone when I'm tired. And I could go on, right? That's a few ways I live the high vibe life. Susan, if I had a window into your practice, give me one way you're living that way.
I like to create sacred space. I like to have myself grounded between heaven and earth and being that conduit of knowing myself, knowing that the divine is present, and knowing that as I ground things and become like living in awareness, that things solidify into truth, and to follow a path of truth and to be honest with myself with truth and integrity will get you very far. And it's everyone's living a hero's journey.
Is it a meditation practice for you, just to be practical about this?
It's more, well, I would say it's more a prayer. I start with prayer each day and I connect that way, and I just continue throughout my day with prayer throughout little bits and parts of the day.
Nice. I want to help people understand this is not complicated. It might just be about carving a minute or two to say a prayer. And that could be a step on your path, a little stepping stone, right? I love it, Susan. Thank you. Caroline, how about you? What's one way that we're going to peek into your window and see you in this high vibe practice?
Like Susan, I always start with a prayer in the day and a check-in. I use EFT actually quite a lot. Yoga is for 20 odd years. Yoga, candle, incense. I have a candle burning pretty much all the day. Smoothie, pure food smoothie with probably 10 ingredients, and check in. Yeah, plenty of prayers, some mindful stops in the day just to check in and clear my energy field, and then check in what's the next thing. So yeah, quite a few different ones, but you know, changing on some days, but they're my pretty basic ones. Yeah.
And there's so many, right? We could talk about 100 different
Oh yeah.
pieces of this practice, right?
Yeah.
And so one thing I like to remind people, you know, when you wake up in the morning, you're going to set an energy and intention that will follow you for the whole rest of the day. So these gals so far are talking about that miracle morning you can set up for yourself, because it's going to keep moving into your hours and your day. So Joy, how about you? What's one of your practice ways?
One of my practice needs, a way of clearing, you know, kind of coming back into myself after a day, is cooking, getting in the kitchen, grounded in my senses. Activity, my brain is very busy, so activity helps me kind of work through my emotions through the day, the emotions, the heavy emotions that I might be carrying from others. Moving and cooking and smelling and tasting and eating and like just playing with food gets me back into that space of self, and it helps me to ground. I try to do that every day at the end of my day. It's sort of a ritual for me. I also use journaling and prayer, I would say, in the mornings usually.
And again, I know I'm repeating myself, but I love the idea that I can use my dinner time as this. See, you gave me an aha today, Joy, about that. I was getting ready to, I was just hungry yesterday, y'all. Like, it was 3 o'clock though. It wasn't close to dinner. And in my head, I was like, you can't make dinner yet. But what I wanted was what Joy is talking about. I wanted to go ahead and have enough time to make dinner in a slowed down fashion and just enjoy it. And so what if it's at 3 o'clock or 4, right? And so that's finally what I came around to. And I had the best dinner, you guys. Like, it was just more fun. And I didn't have to follow any rules about timing. And I ate when I was hungry. And I don't know, it's these little things sometimes. Karen, you're going to close us out today on this last question. Give us an idea of what it means to you to live a high vibe life.
What it means to me to live a high vibrational life is presence, the power of being in the moment. And I know we live in a crazy, you know, chaotic world, but the more I'm present to the very moment, the more I get the messages, the more I understand the messages, the more I'm able to enjoy it and find those things that bring me joy and fill my soul. So living life in the present moment, I can't say enough things about it. And sometimes it's just slowing down and taking that deep breath and allowing it, because when you take a deep breath, you're actually oxygenating your brain to think clearer and give yourself a pause, a power pause.
Yeah, the power pause. I love it. I mean, everything good is in the present moment. Anything you want is in the present moment. All of you are talking about ways to be in the present moment. And that is what's so beautiful about all your ways. This is it, that this is the big secret, is using the power of the present moment to think and be and say and do and live in that high vibration. Whatever you want is here now. It's here now, you guys. So with awareness, you get that choice. Authors, a huge thank you to all of you. It's one thing to be the master teachers that you are and help people like you serve every day, but it's quite another challenge that I gave you to put that in black and white in a book in a way that somebody can get an experience out of it. And you did it brilliantly, all of you. Thank you for doing that and for saying yes to that. Thank you so much for what you do in the world. And thank you all for being here today to share it with everyone. Thanks, ladies. So to our listeners, I hope you can tell this is way more than a book. This is a generous community. So if you heard something today, maybe you have a question, you want to carry on the conversation, you have a question, maybe you need support, maybe you're curious, just drop down below the video into the show notes because I have everybody hooked up with their websites. You can go explore and find out all of the awesomeness that is going on in their worlds. And they're there for you to answer those questions and take you that next step on your journey. And if you're ready to party with us, we're going to have a book launch party, and you're invited to that Zoom July 18th. It's going to be 6 p.m. Eastern. All our high vibrational wellness authors will be there to celebrate. You're going to find info down below about that. And if you happen to be listening to this interview after that date, that just means you can hop over to Amazon and grab your copy of this beautiful book. Lastly, today, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it's time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.